time to start our campaign. Okay, so much cool stuff in here. First off, a big shout out to two people who sent me emails. The first was Tuner13, and he turned me on to the fact that you can generate your own custom squad cards. All right, remember good old Fire Team A, Abraham, he earned his name. Well, hopped onto the card generator and made him his very own card, Abraham on top. And what's really cool about this is that as these skills change, as we level up Abraham, and maybe we give him a stronger fire ability, you can go in, change the number on the card and print it out. So instead of having to refer to little notes on pieces of paper, you could upgrade your units in the actual card. How cool is that? Very cool. I'll put a link to this little card generator. Fire Team B, yep, that's Benjamin. All right, my girl Stasia gave him a little backstory. There's a bit of rivalry between these two. We'll see how that plays out in the mission. And the other one that I decided to upgrade, I thought there was a lot of testosterone going on in this game. So Assault Team B, I turned that into Miss Scarlet here. She must be pretty kick-ass to be able to keep up with these boys. So we'll see how she does. So these are the three cards I'm going to be using in place of the ones that came in the game. All right, just to give it some fun. Maybe we'll change out some of the others as well. Now, the other person who emailed me was Pelor, and he turned me on to the fact that on the designer's website, you can randomly generate mission maps. Cool is that? So if you play through all the mission maps and you want more, you can randomly generate them there. There is so much extra support around this game. I am just very, very, very excited. So I'll put the links below to those two places for you. Thank you guys for pointing that out to me. Now in the back of the book, we have our campaign log and our squad roster. All right, so I just photocopied those, pulled them out. And the squad roster, I picked, there's two pre-generated squads that come in this base game. And I picked the 51st Company, all right? And these are the core teams. These are the people you're allowed to select for all of your missions. And I just stuck little green stars on them to indicate they're all ready, okay? As the mission goes on, there's a very good chance these could be turned to either injured, right, and we won't be able to use them, or straight out killed, which sounds horrible, but I'm sure it will happen. But for now, everyone is ready to go at the start of our campaign. And I fixed the names for Fire Team A and B here, okay? In addition, we can record their experience, we can record any special talents that they acquire along the way, as well as leader awards, all right? Now, the special rules state that at the beginning of a new campaign, we get to choose one of these talents and assign it to our units. Now, each unit can only carry one talent through the campaign. So if I give bull strength to Abraham, that's going to be his only talent. I can't then assign him something else. If he dies, heaven forbid, that talent will be made available again, right? And I can give that talent to a surviving member of my squad. So what have we got? So bull strength, okay, that gives one of our units an additional hit point. That's great. Eagle eye. One of your units can always execute a fire attack before the enemies, all right? Deadly strike. Here, the melee attack of one of your units causes 2 wounds instead of 1. I'm thinking that's the one I'm going to want to use. And parry. The unit can cause a reroll of a successful enemy melee attack. All right. But I'm liking this one. I'm liking Deadly Strike. So I think I'm going to take this one. Not sure who I'm going to assign it to yet. I'll have to look over who we take on our first mission, depending on the mission map. But I'm definitely going to take Deadly Strike. So I'm gonna select that at the start of my campaign and give it to one of my members. Right. Okay. So that's my squad roster. Done. The next thing we need to take care of is our campaign sheet. So this is where we're going to record our campaign. Okay. And a campaign, this particular campaign is made up of 8 missions. I don't know if we'll play all 8. We'll see how interesting this is. And what you do is you pull a random number, okay? And it tells you which table to look at. So the first 4 tables, we're going to look at mission table A. And if we pull a 4, we're playing mission map 3. If we pull a 6, we're playing hive 3. All right. Later on, we move on to table B. Things are going to get a little harder. In addition, you'll see we have these alert levels. And the alert levels basically add sort of additional hardship to our missions. I'll go over those when we get there. Okay, next up. End mission procedure. Well, we'll check that at the end. Victory points. How did we do? Again, we'll check that at the end. And this is interesting. Strategic options. 2 of these options can be chosen per mission. Okay, unless we've aborted and we're reattempting. Okay, then we can't choose any strategic options. It's only our first time in, and a lot of these are very cool, but they are limited. So I'm thinking strategic options, we may want to save these until we move up maybe to a little harder missions. But I'll look over these. I don't know if I'm going to take any of these on our first mission. I think I'm going to try running the first mission without any strategic options. And I'm going to save these for a little bit later. Basically though, line recruit, this means if somebody, we can add another unit. Green recruit, if somebody dies, we can bring in a green recruit. He'll have a little bit of a penalty to him until we run him through a mission. +2 resources, that's cool. That means instead of carrying 10, we can carry 8. +1 intelligence means we get an extra intelligence. Max resources, 9. Now we can carry 9 for the entire mission. The +2 resource, that means we get to start with 10, but once we use 2 and we're down at 8, our limit is still 8. I believe is how that one works. Max resources means for the entire mission we get to carry 9. +20 squad points. When we build our squad, we can maybe pull in a couple more specialists, a free specialist, a new ATV if I manage to, you know, total the one we have, mortar support, which sounds very cool, and a couple of heavy battle suits that help with armor. All right. I think that's sort of the basics of them as I understand it. Again, when I pick one of these, I'll explain it to you for reals, but that's just what I remember from reading through. All right, advanced rules. Remember, we're going to add those in. And how do the advanced rules work? Well, I don't know if you remember or not, but down here on the bottom of the turn track, remember I said we were just going to ignore these? Not anymore. Most of the advanced rules deal with our squad leader. When he generates those wonderful command points. And there's a bunch of different things we can do with command points. Some of them we've already seen in the base game. Some of them are a lingering order or have a lasting effect. These orange ones mean once I give the command of suppressing fire, that will stay the command until I nullify it. Doesn't cost any command points to nullify it, but I do have to say, let's cut out the suppressing fire. Okay. Other commands are going to be just sort of one-offs, right? Intensive fire, embark, withdraw, gather intelligence. Those are don't have a lingering effect like these orange ones do. And from what I can tell, withdraw, retreating and aborting missions are 2 things you definitely have to do in this game. Because everything is done randomly, the missions you pull and the enemies you pull, there's a very good chance you can go into a mission and not have what you need. Okay, so I think the one thing I've seen, just sort of, you know, reading around, is that there's nothing wrong with withdrawing. There's nothing wrong with backing off, resetting up and trying again. Okay, so we'll definitely be playing with these orders. Now, the only difference I'm going to say is this one, intensive fire. Ammo is sort of another level of bookkeeping to the game, all right, and it's optional. If you want to keep the game simpler, you can play with unlimited ammo, and you're not allowed to get this ammo bonus. And I think for the first mission, at least, while I'm trying to incorporate all of the advanced rules, I'm going to play with unlimited ammo. All right. Maybe I'll add in dealing with an ammo supply later on down the road. But for now, while I'm getting my feet wet in the advanced rules, we are going to play unlimited ammo. Okay. And I think that's everything. Yeah, I think that's everything. Right, so the other thing I'm going to do also for the first mission, instead of randomly drawing an enemy, I'm going to stay with the flesh eaters because I understand how they work, and I'm not going to have to explain to you, you know, how this all happens. That way we can focus our time on the advanced rules and what they add to this game instead of worrying about what to do with a new enemy. So for our first mission, whatever that's going to be, we will be going up against the flesh eaters. And let me see who I'm going to take with us and what mission we end up with. All right, so we're going to start our campaign. Campaign number 1 here. It's going to be alert level 1, which means there's going to be no change. All right, there's no modifiers. This is just a standard old mission. We're going to be using table A. So let's see, which mission are we going to be sent on? How about, all right, we're going to take mission number 2. Here it is. Let's see what we've got. Mission number 2. What's going to happen here? Oh, okay, very interesting. We're going to need a couple of specialists, aren't we? Quite a few, in fact. Wow, it looks like some of this happens outdoors. Oh, and we get the ATV on this one. Very cool. All right, so let me take a look at this mission. Figure out, obviously we're going to need a pilot, tracking, climbing, communications. Wow. Okay, let me see what sort of squad we can put together for this mission. Okay, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting because so this is kind of like Dune-esque sort of a mission here. Because we have this giant sandworm as one of the enemies we're going to be facing in this desert, all right? So when we're outside, if we pull an event, instead of getting an enemy from the enemy chart, we're going to get an automatic S, which is an automatic sandworm. And these things are horrible. If they get close to us, they're going to get 2 attacks in, all right? We want to keep them at a distance, if at all possible. Okay. And remember, that's the exact opposite of our flesh eaters. Their swarm ability is that they are harder to hit far away, and we want to get up to them as close as possible. So they're kind of opposite enemies, but we'll see what we can do there. Now, the piloting skill comes from our ATV. This is great. It comes with the pilot skill in advance. You can even fight, believe it or not. Does much better firing, and it helps us with our communications. All right. So all of these outdoor nodes are going to require an ATV. It's got a lot of hit points. It's got a lot of health. If we can keep the sandworm from taking it down, I think we'll do well. Inside these cave complexes, we're looking for some scientists. Again, these defenseless scientists keep getting lost. We're going to take with us an explorer, all right? He has got tracking, he's got climb, and scout, which I don't think we need. But this one special unit is going to cover all of our node requirements. Not a lot of advancing in this one. Not a lot of advancing, all right? So, and our squad leader, right? Now, our squad itself, I'm going to try out these 2 units, the sniper and the shotgunner. And they're kind of cool because the sniper gets to fire off 2 fire attacks, and our shotgunner gets to send out 2 melee attacks. Remember how I said I was going to take Deadly Strike as my talent? Yeah, I think I'm going to give that to the shotgunner, because that way any melee attack he does is going to generate 2 wounds instead of 1. So I'm hoping if we do end up face to face with this sandworm, the shotgunner is going to be able to take him out. And when we get these swarming flesh eater scouts, my hope is that my sniper will be able to take them out. They are expensive units, however. They cost 30. So for support, I'm just going to bring in, I'm not going to take my close combat unit who has the armor. I'm kind of worried about that, but we'll see what happens. We're going to pull in Abraham and Scarlet to back him up. All right. So my fire team is Abraham and the sniper. And my melee team is going to be Scarlet and the shotgunner. All right, does that make sense? Does that sound good? What are we doing? Objective. Your squad must rescue the scientist group on Jovian 3. The scientists are dispersed throughout the desert region of Arsla. All right, so what we need to do is get to any node with this little question mark on it. Okay? These are where we think the scientists are. After we go there and we resolve any event, we're going to draw a random number. On a 4 or less, we locate 1 scientist. On a 5 or more, we manage to pick up 2. Okay? We can only search once at each of these locations. And our mission is to retrieve all 4 scientists. So if we get lucky, maybe we can find 2 sets of 2. However, y'all know what my luck looks like. We're probably going to have to find 1 scientist at each of these locations. Okay? So that's it. I think that's everything for setup. I think we're ready to go here. We have our flesh eaters, we have our mission, we have our squad. Let me get set up and start our Space Infantry campaign.